Have you noticed how something as simple as standing up from your favorite chair feels different than it used to? Maybe you grip the armrest a little tighter, or you pause before climbing that last step. It's not that you're lazy or giving up, far from it. You still have the drive, you still have the will. But your legs? They sometimes feel like they've got a mind of their own, and not in the good way. It can feel like your body is slowly taking away pieces of independence, one small task at a time. Now here's the thing most people never tell you. It's not just about getting older. Yes, age plays a role, but there's another layer, something far more specific. That's stealing your leg strength and balance behind the scenes. And fixing it? Well, it might cost you less than your morning cup of tea. That's right, we're talking about a small, nearly forgotten nutrient that costs around 5 cents a day, yet can make a measurable difference in your ability to walk, climb, and live confidently. Before you roll your eyes and think, oh, another magic pill, hear me out. This isn't about hype. It's not about miracle cures or expensive powders that only work for bodybuilders. This is about giving your body something it once had in abundance, something your muscles already know how to use. And when you bring it back into your daily routine, you may just feel your legs waking up again in a matter of days, not months. But let's back up a moment, because to understand why this little scoop is such a big deal, you first have to know what's really happening inside your muscles after 60. Most people blame aging for weakness. It's just part of life, they say. But what's actually going on is something called muscle atrophy, a gradual loss of muscle fibers that starts earlier than you think. The scary part? It's not always obvious until one day you trip over a small step or struggle to lift your groceries. The truth is, this loss is silent. It creeps in over years, and by the time you notice, you've already lost a big chunk of strength. And here's the frustrating part. Even if you've been doing all the right things, walking, eating healthy, maybe even lifting a few light weights, your body can still refuse to respond the way it used to. You might still feel slower, less stable, or more easily tired. That's because, after a certain age, your muscles become less efficient at turning the protein you eat into actual muscle tissue. Scientists call it anabolic resistance, but I like to call it muscle stubbornness. It's your body basically saying, thanks for the protein, but I'm not in the mood to use it today. So what does this 5-cent secret do differently? Imagine your muscles are like little engines. Every time you move, stand, bend, walk, even reach for something, they burn fuel. That fuel is a special kind of energy stored in your cells. And after 60, your fuel tanks don't refill as quickly as they used to. That's when movement starts to feel harder, recovery takes longer, and your legs lose that spring they once had. The nutrient I'm talking about works like a turbocharger for those little engines. It doesn't replace your fuel, it helps you make more of it, faster. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to join a gym. You don't have to sweat for an hour a day, and you certainly don't need to start lifting barbells. Simply adding this into your routine, a small scoop you can stir into your tea or coffee can start refilling those muscle batteries so you can stand up without hesitation, take a walk without feeling wobbly, or carry your groceries without that knee-buckling moment halfway to the car. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If it's so powerful, why don't doctors shout about it from the rooftops? The truth is, it's been hiding in plain sight for decades. Mostly used by athletes. But in recent years, research has shown its benefits for seniors are nothing short of remarkable. Studies have found that older adults who take it regularly can improve their leg strength, walking speed, and even balance, sometimes in as little as a week. And it's not about bulking up like a bodybuilder. It's about restoring function, stability, and confidence in movement. Here's where it gets even more interesting. This isn't just about muscle. Your brain also uses the exact same type of energy your muscles run on. And this nutrient, it's one of the few that can actually cross into your brain and help power it up too. That means it could also sharpen your focus, speed up your reaction time, and help your body respond quicker when you need to catch yourself from a stumble. Think about that. Stronger legs and a quicker brain working together. That's not just fitness, that's independence. And just so you know, it's not some exotic superfood you have to hunt down online or an overpriced powder with fancy packaging. The most effective version is plain, unflavored, and has been tested in hundreds of studies. It mixes right into whatever you're already drinking in the morning, has no weird taste, and costs pennies per day. But before you go rushing to the store, it's important to understand this. It's not magic on its own. Your body still needs a reason to use that extra fuel. And that's where simple, gentle movement comes in. We're not talking about running marathons or doing push-ups until your arms give out. We're talking about easy, practical movements that tell your muscles, hey, we still need you. Even something as small as standing up from a chair a few extra times a day or rising up on your toes while holding onto the counter can work wonders when combined with this nutrient. This combination, giving your muscles the fuel they crave and then gently asking them to use it, is where the real magic happens. That's when the stiffness starts to fade, your steps feel steadier, and you notice you're not bracing yourself on furniture quite as much as before. And here's my favorite part. The changes don't just happen in your body, they happen in your mind. That first time you walk across the room without holding the wall, or you bend down to pick something up without worrying about your knees, it's not just a physical win, it's a mental one. It tells you, I can still do this. And that kind of confidence, you can't put a price on it. So now that you know this 5-cent scoop can recharge your muscles like a fresh battery, let's talk about what happens when you actually put it to work, because this is where the transformation gets real. I want you to imagine something. It's a Tuesday morning, the sun's peeking through your curtains, and you decide to get out of bed. Instead of that usual heavy-legged shuffle, you notice your feet feel lighter. Your legs don't groan as much when they take those first steps. You grab your morning cup of tea, and without thinking about it, you take the stairs instead of the elevator. It's a small choice, but it's a sign your body is beginning to respond. That's the beauty of fueling your muscles properly. You don't have to wait for dramatic before and after moments. The changes sneak up in little ways. You'll notice your balance when reaching for a high shelf. You'll notice you can bend down to pick up a dropped sock without holding your breath. And when those moments happen, you realize you're not just getting stronger, you're getting more freedom back. But here's the part a lot of people miss. Muscles and the brain are in constant conversation. Every step, every shift of weight, every time you stand from a chair, your brain sends a signal to your muscles saying, move now. The older we get, the slower that signal can become. Sometimes it's just a fraction of a second, but that fraction can be the difference between catching yourself or taking a tumble. This nutrient doesn't just feed your muscles, it feeds your brain's ability to send those lightning-fast instructions. Think of it like upgrading your body's wiring. Suddenly, the messages are clearer, the response time is faster, and your body feels more in sync. That's why so many people who start using it don't just say, my legs feel stronger. They also say, I feel more coordinated, or I don't feel as wobbly when I turn around. Now, of course, the scoop itself isn't going to do push-ups for you. That's where gentle, smart movement comes in. And before you sigh and think I'm about to suggest hours of exercise, let me reassure you, some of the most powerful moves for rebuilding leg strength after 60 can be done in just minutes a day with no special equipment. One of my favorites is something I like to call stand tall, sit slow. All you need is a sturdy chair. Stand up without using your hands if you can, then sit back down slowly, counting to 3. That slow lowering is the secret. It forces your muscles to work harder in a safe, controlled way. Do this 5 times a day, and you'll be surprised how quickly your thighs and glutes start to respond. Another gem is the kitchen counter calf raise. While waiting for the kettle to boil, hold the counter lightly and lift yourself onto your toes, then lower slowly. This strengthens your calves and ankles, 2 often overlooked areas that play a huge role in balance. And here's one more, marching with purpose. Stand tall and march in place, lifting your knees higher than usual for 60 seconds. Keep your shoulders relaxed and your eyes looking forward. This doesn't just wake up your legs, it wakes up the brain to muscle connection so you move with more control. Pair these movements with your daily scoop and you've created a perfect cycle. The nutrient refuels your muscles, and the movements give them a reason to grow stronger. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. Without both, nothing flourishes. Now, let's talk about a hidden bonus: hydration. This nutrient has a natural ability to draw water into your muscle cells, plumping them up and making them more resilient. That's not bloating, that's cushioning. It's your body creating shock absorbers inside your legs, so every step feels supported. But here's the catch. If you're not drinking enough water, that benefit disappears. Your muscles can't store what you're not giving them. Think of your muscles like little water balloons. The right amount of water keeps them bouncy and ready to absorb impact. Too little water and they feel flat and tired. So make it a habit. Every time you take your scoop, follow it with a glass of water. If plain water isn't your favorite, add a slice of lemon or a pinch of salt to help your body hold on to those fluids. And here's something that might surprise you. When you combine this nutrient with just a bit of regular movement and proper hydration, you're not just strengthening your legs for today, you're building a safety net for the future. Stronger legs mean fewer falls, faster recovery if you do stumble, and the confidence to go about your day without that constant little voice in the back of your head saying, "Careful, you might trip." Because let's be honest, fear of falling is one of the most limiting things for seniors. It makes people stop doing the very activities that keep them healthy. You avoid walks, skip stairs, or hesitate to bend down, and before you know it, your muscles shrink even faster. This 5-cent secret, used the right way, is one of the simplest tools you can give yourself to break that cycle. And here's what's even better. You don't have to wait months to feel the change. Many seniors notice subtle improvements within a week or two. The first sign isn't always that you can run up a hill. It might be that you stand up from a low couch without grunting, or you walk down the hallway without grabbing the wall. These little wins are your body telling you, we're on the right track. And that's when it hits you. Strength isn't just about how much you can lift, it's about how easily you can live. You now know what this 5-cent secret is and why it works so remarkably well for seniors. But here's something I've learned over the years. Information by itself doesn't change lives. It's what you do with it that counts. Far too often, people hear something that could truly help them, and they nod in agreement, promising themselves they'll start next week. But next week becomes next month, and before they realize it, a year has gone by. Their muscles have quietly weakened, their steps have grown shorter, and the porch stairs that were once just a nuisance now feel like a mountain. This is why the most dramatic transformations happen to those who take the first step immediately, even if everything else isn't perfect yet. The truth is, you don't need a complicated workout plan or an expensive piece of equipment. You don't even need to change your entire diet overnight. What you need is a small daily commitment, adding this nutrient to your routine, and a willingness to give your body a reason to use it. A few minutes of purposeful movement is enough to send the message to your muscles. We're still in the game. I remember my neighbor Jim, a retired bus driver in his early 70s. For years, he dreaded going out to get the mail because it meant wrestling with the 3 steps up to his front door. He'd laugh it off in conversation, but I could tell it bothered him. When I told him about this simple addition to his breakfast routine, he didn't overthink it. Every morning, right after his coffee, he took it. At the same time, he started a small habit: 10 slow, careful sit-to-stands from his kitchen chair. No gym, no stopwatch, just a steady, daily effort. The first week, he noticed nothing. By week 3, he told me he didn't feel quite as drained in the afternoons. By the 5th week, I saw him bounding up those porch steps with a bag of groceries in his arms, smiling like he'd just won a race. That's the magic of starting small and being consistent. You don't notice the change day to day, but one morning you realize something that used to be difficult has quietly become easy. And this is the bigger point. Stronger legs don't just mean walking better. They mean freedom. They mean saying yes to a last-minute trip with friends, strolling through the park without fear of tripping, and bending down to tie your shoes without holding onto a wall for balance. They mean confidence, the kind that makes you feel capable, steady, and alive. So if you're sitting there thinking, I should try this sometime, I'm asking you to make some time today. There's no perfect moment to begin, and you don't need to wait for the stars to align. You just need to decide that your strength, your independence, and your quality of life are worth the next 5 cents you spend. And before you click away, if you found this message helpful, give this video a thumbs up so it can reach other seniors who might need this little push. Subscribe and hit that bell icon because I'll be sharing more simple, practical ways to keep your body strong and your life vibrant. Because here's the truth. I've seen over and over. Getting older is inevitable, but feeling weaker doesn't have to be. Every day is a new chance to get stronger, and all it takes is the choice you make today.